the people, they're, they don't come to work, and it's an office. It's a professional business. They call in. They don't want to work. They sleep at their desk.
All right, let me ask you this.
I'm a worker.
Exactly. Sleep at your desk because they're probably burnt out and worn out. What's going on, guys? It's your boy RedpillCanuck back again with another YouTube video. Shout out to the Canuck Squad for being involved and being active on this YouTube channel. And today is good old Money Monday, where we get serious about our dollars and our cents. And we don't think about anything else because today is good old Money Monday. Of course, today's video is sponsored by the RedpillCanuck.com, Red Pill Canuck Daily Pill, where we get all our latest news, weird stories, and our podcasts are on there as well. And speaking of podcasts, if you're listening on our alternative platforms, we are also on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you're listening from there, welcome, welcome, welcome. Make sure you hit that like button, follow button, and check out our YouTube channel and hit our subscribe and like button as well. And if you're listening and watching on YouTube, again, make sure you smash that like button on the way in and subscribe if you haven't already. I tried to say it all in one breath. Today's episode is something that has been a trend for quite a while. But has it really been quite a while? Or has it been a long time coming? Pause. Quiet quitting. Is it the new fad? Or is it long overdue? That is today's question for today's episode. Yep, we're going to get into that. We're also going to get into stuff for that employers could look at as well on how to coincide with this quiet quitting trend. And of course, we're going to listen to a Dave Ramsey video, or audio as we like to call it here, about a 61-year-old who is not happy at her job, and she just wishes that everybody would work as hard as she does. Yeah, that's going to be further on in the video. And I do have some questions I would like to raise, but we're going to save it until then. So getting right into it, me personally, when I was doing research for this video, I honestly thought quiet quitting meant you quietly left your job. You know, you were quietly packing your stuff, kind of looking around the corners, making sure nobody saw what you were doing while you were walking out that door and saying, bye-bye to my career. But apparently that's not the case. I actually learned quite a few things when I was doing the research as well. So quiet quitting, we're actually going to go right into it right now. Quiet quitting refers to a rising trend where employees are doing the bare minimum at work, a reversal from the tendency to go above and beyond at the workplace. A common sentiment behind the quiet quitting trend is work-life balance is important. That work-life balance is important. Overwork is overrated and unhealthy. And work isn't the end to be all of a person's life. Now, I have always believed that balance in any sort of aspect is good for your mental health. Like too much play or too much recreation or too much work. It's like a pie. You have to have equal parts in order to have, a positive mental health. That's my opinion. And of course, that's what this article is trying to state. Now, I know a lot of people out there, some people figure that their job is a paycheck, which is a fair assessment because while you're basically trading your time, which is your most valuable resource, for money. Fair assessment? Fair assessment. But when people love their job, because some people actually genuinely love what they do, and I'm like that as well. what people will do is that they'll give 110%. They'll give extra. Sometimes they'll do it for a promotion. Sometimes they're doing just because they're a genuinely nice person and they love what they do. Now, this trend, that doesn't exist anymore. People are basically doing their bare minimum not to get fired and focusing more on themselves, which I don't see a bad thing. But for some employers, and it's actually some companies as well, and actually I believe there was another article that's going to state that, so I'm going to steal that idea. That's how a lot of companies actually are able to get kind of a one-up on their competition, because you have individuals that are, pardon my language, busting their ass at their job, so that way the company can strive even more. That's not the case anymore. Anyway, let's continue with the article. When someone quiet quits, they don't actually resign for their job, which actually, to be fair, was actually a misconception of mine. I actually thought that's what they meant. I thought everybody was just basically quitting. Another term actually for this was and I actually learned this term as well, is work to rule. A lot of teachers usually do this, and I think some healthcare professionals always do this as well. Health professional, if you're watching me, correct me if I'm wrong. Let me know in the comments below. But I know teachers are renowned for doing this. Work to rule, basically, you're gonna go to school, and you're gonna do whatever your contract says. Okay, I'm gonna teach these kids, but I'm not gonna do any extracurricular activities like coaching basketball or coaching baseball or doing after school stuff. Remember those after school programs you used to have? Yeah, I ain't doing that. You got to find somebody else to do that, because I'm just going to teach them kids their bare minimum that I'm required to do to keep my job and keep the union happy, and that's all you're getting out of me. This is sort of the same concept of quiet quitting. So I guess it's more of a trendier name for it. Anyway, continuing. So they don't actually resign from their job, but they take a step back from the emotional investment and engagement in their work. You could think of quiet quitting as going through the emotions, doing the bare minimum to keep your job, flying under the radar screen rather than to excel and simply fulfilling your job's duties, but more than that. So basically what I said. Quiet quitters may procrastinate on duties or deliverables that aren't needed immediately rather than trying to overachieve. So again, doing the bare minimum. So how did quiet quitting start? I actually thought it started earlier than this. This is my opinion. But it wasn't actually in the forefront. It wasn't on the surface. It wasn't a big trend as it is now. But that's allegedly, that is my opinion. So when did it start? How did the workforce get here? The numbers of a recent trend have paved the way for quiet quitting to gain popularity. Employee engagement has declined in 2022. So this is after the lockdowns and the COVID pandemic, according to a study published in April of 2022. It found that the U.S. engagement dropped for the first time in a decade over the past 2 years, ratcheting down from 2021. And again in 2022, to now less than 32% of workers surveyed currently engaged in their workplace. So another point we can make here is that a lot of people were actually working from home. So when they were working from home, they're like, you know what? People had time to think. They're basically sitting there is like, you know what? Why am I wasting all my time at this job? I'm exchanging my most valuable resource, which is my time, to help profit a company that can easily replace me if cheese forbid something was to happen. Now I'm not the CEO. I'm just a normal speck of dust on the corporate table. Why am I trying to excel and sacrificing my family life? I don't have time to smash my wife. She's complaining because I'm always coming home late. We're fighting every day. Why do I go through this? I have to make an adjustment. I have to quiet quit. Now, as elaborate as that example is, believe it or not, it actually is true. And a lot of fellas, ladies, you can admit this as well, that your partners are always complaining that you're working too hard. When you're on family vacations and the big boss will call you, instead of saying, you know what, this is family time, you'll answer the phone. You will go to the office on your days off. Now, again, some people genuinely love their job. They love what they do. I'm not going to throw any shade on you. It is what it is. Me, I personally love my job too. But there's certain boundaries that you do not cross. And some people were doing that. And I think because of the lockdowns, people were assessing their lives overall. Okay, is it really fair that I'm trading my most valuable resource for a little bit of extra money? The company is making billions, but how much am I really making? Should I focus more on myself? So that's a lot of questions that people were asking themselves, and that's what actually led to this whole quiet quitting trend. Going back to the article. As employees become disengaged from their work, it opens a door for opens them to cut back on what they contribute to their job in terms of excitement and energy, and may lead to them joining the ranks of those who are quiet quitting. So again, it's an example of dissatisfaction. And I personally have seen this in a lot of workplaces. A lot of my friends actually went through something similar, whereas they don't feel as appreciated from their employers like they used to. And that being said, again, for example, with the lockdowns we went through for the past 2 years, a lot of companies, what they're trying to do, and some companies won't admit it. Yes, companies lost money. They'll admit that. A lot of companies lost a lot of money because they had to close down. But what they won't admit is that they're trying to play catch up. A lot of companies, including the airline industry, the hospitality industry, they were hit the hardest. The travel industry, they were hit the hardest. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to play catch up. And again, that's just one of the hardest hit was the travel industry because you weren't able to travel anywhere. But every industry has been a victim of this. They lost money. They didn't hit their targets. Now, what companies are trying to do now that everything is kind of opened up is they're trying to play catch up. So they're trying to squeeze 2 years of profits that was lost and trying to make it back in order to play catch up. But what they're doing is, in reality, they're stressing out their employees even more because they're making them do double, sometimes triple the duties that they were doing. And of course, employees, they're only human. They're going to get burnt out. So when you're getting burnt out or on the verge of getting burnt out, you're not going to have the same excitement. You're not going to have the same energy like you did before, which is going to lead to the quiet quitting trend. Let's continue. Along with decreasing engagement, the Great Resignation, they call it the Great Resignation, where large swarms of the American workforce decided to leave their jobs, was another precursor to quiet quitting. Precursor to quiet quitting. As people watch colleagues jump ship, many of those who left may have understandably felt less incentive to give their all. Again, like I was saying, a lot of these companies were expecting double, triple, quadruple energy, like say energy, work. They essentially wanted the work of 4 people to be done by 1 person. And of course, that's going to stress somebody else. That's going to make people feel discouraged. Okay, where am I? There we go. Another related trend is the move towards a greater flexibility at work. With the COVID-19 pandemic leading to the expanded opportunities for remote work and a new push towards work-life balance to combat the actively pushback against burnt out and overwork. So, again, a lot of people were working from home and they were realizing, you know what? Is it really worth it? Paul Lewis, Chief Customer Officer at Azuna, I can't pronounce that. A global job search notes that the trend has its roots within the younger workforce. So we're talking about Gen Z, it looks like. With the hashtag quiet quitting hashtag racking over millions of views on social media platforms, particularly good old TikTok. Now, I'm going to give TikTok a break today. I know I usually go in hard pause on TikTok, but we're going to give it a break because today is Money Monday. There's much evidence to suggest that younger, less established workers were some of the hardest hit on the pandemic, suffering from layoffs, pay cuts, and social isolation. So I guess working from home. In this mind of unsurprising that this demographic is now the most concerned with maintaining healthy work-life balance, feeling respected and secure at their job, prioritizing their mental health and well-being, and having enough time outside to work on and pursue their passions. So doing side hustles and whatnot, doing stuff on the side. So how to combat burnt out and avoid quiet quitting. So this is something for the employers, I believe. And there's also, that could be done for the employees as well, how to kind of reduce yourself being burnt out. But employers, you can take note on this as well. No one can get engaged at work all the time, and short stints of quiet quitting may help you avoid getting burnt out if you use them strategically rather than adopting the approach of a full-time mindset. While it may be trendy, joining the ranks of the quiet quitters may not be for everyone. And again, we're going to be going into a Dave Ramsey video where obviously the 61-year-old, this is not her mindset. Again, she probably has an older mindset, and baby boomers and Gen X, they can actually probably contest to this. When you're at that age, or that age in life, you went to work, you did your job, you got paid. If you didn't like your job, you sucked it up, and you just kind of moved on. And then when you get to a certain age, you retire. Hopefully you retire. And then you wait. Oh, then you wait for this here. Where's my bell at? There we go. You just wait for that. Wait for them chimes. Yep, your work career is pretty much done. You're pretty much done. 10 toes up the wrong way. And of course, that being said, your job after they'll mourn you. Of course they'll mourn you. And then after a week, they hire somebody else. And then you're forgotten. That was the old mindset. But the new mindset's a little bit different. Of course, we care more about our mental health, which actually I am not disagreeing. This is probably the first time that I, and Gen Z kind of coincide. I do agree with quite a bit what they're saying in regards to quiet quitting. I do appreciate the fact that you do have to focus more on yourself because, again, some people say life is short. Life is very, very, very long. In my opinion, life is long. But at the same time, you got to make the best of it. You got to be productive. Because you ain't got one life. You got to live your best life. Anyway, so let's get into some of the points that we have here. Of course, I went on my little rant as usual. Okay, so here are some of the suggestions. Communicate with your boss. If you're feeling burnt down, talk to your manager. Explain why the current workload is too much and come to a solution as in how to fix it. I really don't know if that always works, especially if you have a manager that is trying to play catch up so he can get his bonus, or if the company is competing against somebody else and they're trying to make up and try to make the shareholders happy. I agree on what they're saying here, but that cannot always be addressed. Let's be real. Anyway, next one. Give yourself recharge opportunities. Make sure you're using your PTO. Now, what is PTO? Let me see if I can actually click and see what PTO is. PTO is... Oh, paid time off. Okay. Count as paid time off. All right. They should have put it in abbreviation, but okay. Paid time off, I'm assuming. In many companies, time off doesn't roll over, and not taking the time will make you feel like you're working yourself to the bone. I always say that you got to invest in yourself even in regards to time. Take the time to live life. Me personally, how I actually recharge myself, I make videos for you guys. That's my relief. I make videos for you guys. I do research. I do extracurricular activities. Sometimes we do this here. That's how your boy recharges his batteries. But anyway, everybody has their own outlet in order to recharge. It's the same thing like when you have your cell phone. You plug it in to recharge because your batteries are almost dead. That's basically what it's saying. So use your time off, because a lot of companies, it is true, a lot of companies do not roll off their time off that they give to you or vacation days. It's very rare that companies actually still do it. But if they do it, shout out to you, because that means if you're working for a company for a long time, you could take a lot of time off. You could take a month off if you wanted to. But a lot of companies don't do it, and some companies, what they'll do, they will just pay you off at the end of the year. So yeah, you're looking at your check. It's like, oh, I got my vacation. I got an extra $2,000. Not realizing it's taxed. Yeah, they tax you on everything. So you're better off taking your time off, recharging your batteries, or even doing something on the side. Do a side hustle. That's my opinion. That's what I would do. A lot of people on their days off, what they do is they'll drive Uber. They'll do food delivery just as a side hustle. Some people like driving, and then, they're able to recharge their batteries at the same time and make some extra coin. That's just my take. Anyway, next one. Get up from your computer throughout the day. Take a walk, sit outside, eat lunch away from your laptop. Use your lunch break to do a workout and get those endorphins flowing. I don't know what that is. I guess it's something with the body. This will allow you to feel less stuck and can also help you with your creative juices. That's what I usually do as well. Me personally, what I usually do is that I usually, especially if I have writer's block, or if I'm trying to do some sort of research, for the videos that I do for you guys, and I can't come up with an idea, I'll go for a walk. I usually do that in the morning as well. I usually go for a walk, get some fresh air, because obviously fresh air, it does help your brain activity, and it allows you to feel less congested. And the last one that they suggest here is carve out time for your hobbies and being with your family and friends. Again, personal time. Again, I do videos for you guys. I consider that as a hobby. Spending time with friends, going to a Leaf game, or I'm not really a Leaf fan, I'm more of a Pittsburgh Penguins fan. So go to that, see family, stuff like that. Kind of go outside your work life and focus more on your personal life. So he concludes that settling boundaries and sticking to them is a crucial part in maintaining a balance between your work life and personal life. By making sure you have time for those things to enjoy outside of your professional responsibilities, you can stay more grounded and make more career decisions based on strategy rather than being burnt out and disengaged. Now, these are very good points. Again, I could add to these. Some of them can be altered. Again, it's a person by person basis. But yeah, that's actually really, really good points here. So, next article goes with the latest trends. So we're going to talk about the latest trends here. Okay, so this kind of says most about. Let me see if there's anything new here. So this is actually pretty much. This is pretty much was same as the other article. Actually, there was one point I kind of want to get into as well. So there was a TikTok video here, good old tickety talk, where a person was actually talking about quiet quitting. So we're just gonna we're gonna roll the film here, and this video actually went viral as well. So
I recently learned about this term called quiet quitting, where you're not outright quitting your job, but you're quitting the idea of going above and beyond. You're still performing your duties, but you're no longer subscribing to the hustle culture mentality that work has to be your life. The reality is it's not, and your worth as a person is not defined by your labor.
Very short video, and actually, you know what? Round of applause. Because this is actually the first of very few TikTok videos which I actually agree with. So there's nobody dancing, twerking, and doing these weird things. This person is stating fact, and it's short and sweet, so shout out to him. But it does really ring true, honestly. Life is short, and a lot of people, they kind of, especially the way our society is, they kind of measure your worth compared to what your job is. Now, that's why a lot of people back in the day, they used to try to go for that desk job, the CEO position, whatnot, because they figured that their job is what measured them as a person. Now, ladies, you got to be fair, you got to be honest on this. You ladies do the same thing. When you try to date a guy, the first thing you ask, okay, what do you do for work? Now, I understand you're trying to find out what his financial situation is. I understand that. That's fair. Because you don't want to date somebody who's broke. But that kind of reiterates what I'm saying. You're focusing the person's status based on the job they're attached to. Now, a CEO, yes, they probably make 6 figures, maybe close to 7 figures. But you don't know how much debt this person is in. You don't know if his house is up for foreclosure pretty soon because he made a bad investment in the stock market. You don't know that. So what this guy was trying to say in this video here is that you can't be measured tied to your work. Life is more important. Life has more aspects to that. And I do appreciate his video and his mindset there. So let's see if I can actually, because a lot of stuff was a repeat of the actual article. Okay, here we go. So actually, this is what I wanted to get into. So what can leaders do? In experience management, roots of quiet quitting are what we call experience gaps, instances where organizations or brands fail to meet expectations at any point in an employee's journey. Here are several activities leaders must lean into. So this is actually kind of more into the employer aspect. So listen, understand, and act. Employee listening programs like organization-wide surveys are critical to identifying and closing employees' experience gaps. These efforts allow organizations to notice and understand the roots of quiet quitting and likelihood above and beyond behaviors. So this is kind of combating the whole quiet quitting trend. So again, if somebody's being overworked, because some people, and obviously I'm throwing no shade on anybody, some people are overworked, but a lot of them are scared to speak up because they feel they're going to be ridiculed or they're going to lose their job. So a lot of people will stay quiet and they'll take it. They'll take the abuse. Now, I don't want to call it abuse because technically you're getting paid to work, but I'm talking about abuse on your body, on your mental state. Because a lot of people, me personally, I've been in situations where I do feel overwhelmed, but sometimes I don't say something. Obviously, that was in my younger days, because obviously, especially when you're new to the workforce, you want to go above and beyond because you want to separate yourself from the pack. Now, let it be for a promotion, like I said, or just because you love the job. So, anyway, next one. Did I lose my spot? Oh, there we go. Oh, here we go. Sorry, I lost my spot here. Do employees feel motivated and going beyond, and are they appropriately recognized and compensated for their efforts? If not, why? It's important to keep a pulse on the expectations what the expectations are, and to the areas where they aren't met. So this is kind of checking employee morale. And the next one is promote healthy work-life habits. So they did a research that highlights that more than half, 58% of American workers say they are primarily source of mental health challenges. So so basically their mental health is suffering because of overwork, because of their job. And that nearly half while on vacation. Okay, interesting. We also know that people find it difficult to separate work and family life. Again, I was talking about earlier with, you coming home late, wife gets mad, but you're trying to do that hustle and she doesn't understand. So it's all about balance. What are crucial is that the leaders and the senior managers openly communicate about balance and encourage employees to create boundaries and take time off seriously. Things like mental health days, setting out of office responses, and ensuring employees aren't disturbed while they're on vacation are several simple measures that can be implemented. Now, here in Canada, they actually came out with a law. You cannot call anybody when they're on their time off. It's actually illegal. This actually came across last year, I believe. It was last year, November. So if you're on your day off, your manager can't call you. But here's the funny thing. Unless it's an emergency. Now, the word emergency is very broad. Say if your workplace is burning down. Yeah, that could be considered an emergency. But it also could be considered an emergency that someone decided not to come to work and there's no way to cover. Could that be considered an emergency? So they weren't really specific on the type of emergency can actually be a loophole for these individuals. But again, a lot of employers have actually adapted this and they have been listening. Like me personally, my workplace never really called me on my day off too much anyway. I think they're happy to have me away on days off so I don't bother them. Could be, you never know. Okay, so there's another one here. So set real life expectations and responsibilities. Every job has core requirements, but the idea of going above and beyond is so entrenched in some business cultures that leaders simply expect that from employees. Again, not everybody is going to go above and beyond. Only if you truly love the job or if you're going for a promotion. Now, let's be fair. If you're going for a promotion, obviously, you're going to do extra. If you love your job, you genuinely love your job, yes, you're going to do extra, but not everybody is going to feel the same way. Employees take roles and responsibilities outside their core requirements, like helping a colleague with their work, challenging or staying late to resolve a matter with a customer, or if they intentionally or externally motivate to do so. So again, if you love your job, or if you love, you're cool with your employees, you'll stay back. However, not formally outlining these additional behaviors and their mutually beneficial outcomes may become the norm. And some employees don't feel recognized with these behaviors. So again, with the example with resolving an issue with a customer, some employers will say, good job, you know what, here's a Starbucks gift card for your efforts, or you know what, thank you so much, you're really valued at this company. Some bosses would basically say, okay, oh, it was resolved? Okay. And that's it. It ends there. No thank you, no nothing. I've seen this happen. I've seen it happen. Okay, where's my spot here? With this in mind, leaders should ensure expectations and responsibilities are clear, outline the joint value position to employees, and explicitly incentives behaviors with rewards and social recognition. So again, a simple thank you, honestly, can go a long way for people. And a lot of people don't realize that. And let me go full screen for a second. See, a lot of people don't realize that we're all humans. Yes, there's a rank of manager, CEO, and then regular wage slave speck of dust on the table. And the reason why I use that term is because, especially with companies so big, a lot of times they don't know your name. And sometimes if they know your name, that means you've been in trouble too often. But that being said, though, a lot of people don't realize that we're all human and that we thrive on recognition, social acceptance. Just look on social media, for instance. You post a photo, and ladies are renowned for this, but men are renowned for this too, where acceptance and social recognition is like a currency. Look at Instagram, for instance. You post a photo up there. The more hearts, the more likes you get. Like even here on YouTube, we get recognition from likes. The more likes we get, it satisfies the algorithm, and then it pushes our video out. So that being said, when you say thank you for a job well done, it doesn't cost anything. Now, they say here talking about incentives. So, like the example I gave with a Tim Hortons gift card or a Starbucks gift card, or here, I'll give you a paid day off. Yeah, that costs money. I understand that. But saying thank you doesn't cost anything. And in some cases, saying those two words, those two little words that sometimes we as humans forget because we're so part of the hustle and bustle of work life. We forget recognition, and those two words, thank you, in a lot of cases, especially if somebody's overworked, is worth more than money. Which is very, very true. A simple thank you, a simple kind word is worth way more than money. And a lot of us have forgotten that. To think that we went through a global issue where it would bring people together, it seemed to have brought people more and more apart. And I'll give you an example. I was actually on my way home. I always, well, not always, but majority of the time when someone's in front of me, I'll let them go in front of me. You get a thank you wave, some sort of acknowledgement. People don't do thank you waves anymore. When did that stop? So again, you would think that we went through this global issue where we thought the world was going to end, some people thought. You would think it would bring us closer together. It seemed to bring us further and further apart, in my opinion. And especially in the workforce, people just don't care anymore. And it's not that because they don't care about their job. It's not because they don't love what they do. It's because we're human. We're overworked. There's only a certain point that somebody can go to before they crack. Now, do I agree with quiet quitting? In some aspects, yes, I do. I do agree with it because some people really do put 110% because they genuinely love their job. They love what they do. They go to work. They don't even call it work. Some people would even do work if it was free because they love what they're doing so much. And this article actually is kind of a repeat. They're all kind of repeats, but there was short points, but a lot of points that I actually didn't mention. It kind of reading rates for article. So I'm not going to read this third article. But that being said, a lot of people don't realize that life is short. And I know I said life is long. If you're lonely, life is really long. But life in reality is short. We're going to have a limited time here. And again, I know that we have to pay our bills. So we have to trade our most valuable resource for another resource in order to survive. I get that. But at what cost are we going to put that to? Like, are you really going to put your mental health on the line? Yeah, you'll probably have $1 million. You'll have that mansion that you want. Or you'll have that brand new Tesla in the driveway. But are you really happy? Are you really happy? And employers out there, bosses out there, you're pushing your employees to make that quota so you can get your bonus. You're trying to play catch up for the past 2 years because the company lost money. Now, is that really fair to your employees? Eventually, they're going to say, you know what, screw it, I don't care anymore. I'm going to walk out. And that's going to put you in an even worse position because you're not going to have anybody to cover for you. And because of this new trend that's going on, it's actually even harder to find employees to work. Because, again, employers are pushing their employees to the brink of insanity sometimes. But anyway, so that being said, we're gonna go into our Dave Ramsey reaction here. So basically, this is about a 61-year-old lady who doesn't believe she's getting a fair shake at work, and she wishes that her co-workers would work as hard as her. Oh, ma'am. Oh, ma'am. So again, we're going to do our fair use, good old fair use. We haven't done fair use in a while, and some people like fair use. So we're going to go into our fair use. Let me put up a banner here. So fair use to good old Dave Ramsey, expert to copyrighted material, may under circumstance be quoted verbatim for the purpose of teaching, reporting, and research without permission or payment to the good old copyright holder. So shout out to Dave Ramsey. So we're going to play the call here. Again, fair use. And it would help if I took my fair use off. Why is my fair use not coming off? My fair use hasn't been up for a while, and it doesn't want to leave. There we go. So we're gonna watch good old Dave here for a bit. But we're gonna play the audio. So again, fair use, and let's get into the call. Give me 1 second here. There we go.
Cindy starts this hour in Dallas, Texas. Hey, Cindy, how are you?
I'm just fine, thank you. My situation is I am 61 years old. I'm in a job. I've been with this company for 12 years. I want to change jobs. I need to work with people that care about their job, that come to their work and do the work and know what they're expected to do and do it. My enneagram that you talked about, I'm a moral perfectionist, loyal guardian, and I also did Ken Coleman's assessment. My talent is inspection, instruction, execution. My passion is leading, finishing, analyzing, and my mission is achievement.
What does that all really mean, seriously? So what I'm guessing here now, she's more of a baby boomer / Gen X. And again, I mentioned earlier in the video their mentality is a little bit different than with millennials and Gen Z. So back then, it was basically go to work, go home. You don't like your work, suck it up. Because it's a job. Kind of walk it off kind of thing. Her assessment right away, she does sound like she's kind of in a management role. I could be wrong. I may be prejudging. But ma'am, Cindy, just by listening to the how many like 30 seconds, 45 seconds that we were listening to you, that's definitely a older way of thinking. 56 seconds. That is an older way of thinking. Yeah, you ain't gonna get that no more. Unless you hire somebody who's in their 60s. Continuing.
I want to change jobs, but my friends and family are telling me I should not. Because of my age, I need to stay put because it's going to be hard for me to find a job. And I have...
Okay, hold on a second. You're 61 years old and you want to change jobs at 61? Shouldn't you be thinking of retirement, ma'am? You're almost at 65. Now, hopefully this lady, Cindy, hopefully you put some money towards retirement. Hopefully you've been saving them nuts like a squirrel would save nuts for the winter. Hopefully you've been putting that away and saving for your retirement. Because why are you 61? Like, I understand, you're still working. Again, some people do it because they like doing it. Some people doing it because they didn't plan ahead. But 61 and you're planning to change your careers at 61? Good luck. Because again, maybe you do have all that experience. And I'm not trying to be mean here, but I'm trying to be real. We're real here at the Red Pill Canuck channel. We do not sugarcoat anything. I give you the real. Companies, 9 times out of 10, will hire someone who's younger. Why? Because 1, they can pay them cheaper than what a lot of people who have decades of experience. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. You're monetizing your experience. I appreciate that. Nothing wrong with it. But companies will not pay that. They would rather get somebody fresh out of college. Yeah, I'm sorry. I had to go there, but I did mention college. They would rather mention somebody out of college, pay them less, and get more updated credentials, experience, as opposed to decades of experience that happened in the past and probably they don't even use them procedures no more. Like shorthand. People don't use shorthand anymore. But there's a lot of individuals who actually took shorthand in school. Keyboarding, for instance, typing. Yes, they still use typewriters in the court system. Yes, you can actually use it because, you're at a computer. But shorthand, people don't use shorthand anymore. They use digital recorders now. So again, a lot of experiences that you have decades of is not really valid anymore. So of course, you're 61 and trying to change careers at 61? Good luck. Your friends are right. They're looking out for you. You're better off staying at your job until your time to retire. Anyway, continuing.
I have applied for jobs, and I don't even get an interview now. When I used to get lots of interviews. I mean, I have stellar work.
Exactly what I was saying. She's applying for jobs and she's not getting it because exactly the point I just made. They're looking for fresh, higher, cheaper individuals. Now, higher as in higher level of thinking. They're more about they're easier to think outside the box as opposed to being a normie and sticking to the bare minimum. Because that's the way they were raised. They were raised to do the the requirements of the job and go home. Not willing to think outside the box. So they're looking for younger individuals. And she did state it there. So yes, Cindy, stay at your job. Don't go nowhere. Anyway, continuing.
History, and I just am stuck.
Sure.
I don't know what to do.
Okay, so before we get into the applying process and what frustrating results you're dealing with there, I'm just curious. I heard some things on you that I've heard before, and I'm just curious what you would say is the number one and maybe two reasons why you want to leave this company. Give me the quick version.
Okay, because the people, they're, they don't come to work, and it's an office. It's a professional business. They call in.
Mm-hmm.
They don't want to work. They sleep at their desk.
All right, let me ask you this.
I'm a worker.
Exactly. Sleep at your desk because they're probably burnt out and worn out. Now, the way Cindy is making it look, she's making it look like they're lazy, they don't want to work, and they don't want to do anything. And they're probably playing Call of Duty all night or partying all night at the club that they just can't come to work. But the reality is, this is the new norm. People are overworked. People are tired. Their employers are overworking them. So obviously, you don't want to come to work. You're tired. You want to take that day off. You need to recharge. But the way she's making it with her mentality is, again, and not to throw any shade on her, because I guess that's how her generation was. That's probably how she was raised. Is basically work, and don't say anything until you get to a certain point, and then you go through this here. Work until you hear them chime bells. And then you could take your eternal break and your eternal good old dirt nap. So probably that's her way of thinking. But that's not the reality. Now already, I guess, I want to prejudge this individual, but does she come off a little as whining? Like, what about focusing on your job, your task? Unless you're picking up their slack or unless you're a manager, then I kind of understand your point. But you're there to do your job. Do your job and don't worry about whoever's not doing their job. Unless you're a manager. Now let's see if she's a manager. Let's continue.
Worker.
I know. I can tell. Are you leading those people or are these coworkers?
Well, they were coworkers, but our manager left. They moved me into the management position. And I asked to be moved back because I just couldn't. I want people to know what their job is.
So basically, what you're trying to say is they give you the opportunity. They put you up to bat probably because of your seniority. They're like, you know what? We're going to put you as manager. And could you handle that simple task?
Nope.
And what did you do instead? You basically said, oh, woe is me. I can't handle these employees. They don't listen to me. I can't handle this job. Yeah. So you had the opportunity to change whatever was going on in that workplace. You had authoritar put upon you in order to change things. You don't like how your coworkers are acting? You were giving to authority to write them up, to clear house, to let them go, to give them warnings, because you weren't a coworker anymore. But you weren't able to handle it. Could you handle it?
Nope.
Instead, you tucked your tail and went back to your old position. And you're still complaining about that. And your excuse for stepping down is because you couldn't handle the job. So I don't think, honestly, I don't think you should be complaining. Because if you can't do it and you had that power, why didn't you do it? You shouldn't be complaining because you had the opportunity to change it. Yeah. Continuing.
Do their job, be able to do their job, be capable of doing their job, and then do your job.
I get it. Now let's just remove.
I'm back and I'm not in management anymore.
Got it. Okay. Now let's remove that frustration from our conversation just for a moment. Let's just put it over to the side. Do you love what you're doing? Do you like what you're doing? Forget the frustration.
I love my work, and I love our clients.
All right.
Yes.
So, couple things I want you to consider. I'm not in any way telling you not to look elsewhere. However, your Enneagram.
Okay, a point I actually want to make. I didn't mean to cut him because I know he was going to go for a good point here. Notice what she said. I love my job and I love our clients. Okay, but are you happy there? That's the question. You may love your job, sure. You can love a lot of things. But are you truly happy at your job? You love your clients. You're not management. You're just a normal wage slave. So either you love your clients or you hate your clients. It doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter because you ain't getting that bonus if your clients are happy. Your boss is. Now, I think what the actual answer he was looking for is if you're actually happy. She didn't say that she was happy. She didn't say that, you know what? I love my job. Not that I love working there. Now, that's a key point. But hopefully he gets into it. I know I cut him off here, but let's continue.
Enneagram that you shared with us is really at the source. Your wiring is at the source of your frustration, that moralist.
Exactly.
I know, and I get it. And I want to try to set you free from it because you had the opportunity to do something about it when you were in management, but you walked away from it. I'm not getting on you about it, not judging you. But you
I'm judging her because, again, he said exactly what I said. Exactly what I said. You had the chance, but you did nothing. You did nothing, and you're still complaining. Anyway, continuing.
As a manager, theoretically, if you had support above you, to fire and get rid of some of those people, or to mentor them and see what motivates them. You had your chance there. But now that you're back, if you want to stay where you are because you love the work and you're 61 and you're having a hard time looking out, and seeing other opportunities, you've got to get to the point where you go, I'm responsible for my work.
Exactly.
And I am their coworker, not their mom.
Exactly.
I am their coworker, not their aunt. I am their coworker, not their leader. And you've got to decide, because what I'm hearing here,
not judge, jury, and execution.
That's right. It's not your call. And so the source.
Now, do you know what? I didn't mean to come again, but to be fair, that's how most older generations are. They feel that they have to bust their ass at work, and everybody else should bust their ass at the same time. That ain't gonna happen. This is not a perfect world. The same way not everybody's life is the same as yours. Yeah, you may be 61. You're probably retired. You're probably, your kids are grown up. You're an empty nester. Maybe you're single. Never know. But other people may have families. They have kids. They have responsibilities aside from workplace. So, of course, if the company that they're working for is putting extra work on their plate, where their plate is already full with house life and life in general, of course they're going to be tired. So, ragging on them for not doing their jobs, you don't know what they're going through when they're not at work. So, let's be fair here. Your life may be easy, but not everybody's life is as easy as yours, ma'am. So you can't expect the same output that you have is going to match theirs. Continuing.
Source of all of your tension and frustration is you looking at everybody else, sloughing off, slacking.
Right.
I get it. I get the frustration.
Well, but it affects my work.
Okay. All right. That was my next question. How much is it affecting your ability to do your job? Now, this is the question. Not how much is it affecting your ability to focus on your job, because I think you're focused on them and giving them too much power.
Yep.
But how much is it affecting your ability? See, that's what the giggle is. How much is it affecting your ability to actually execute on your work? 5%? 10%?
Maybe 10. I don't know. It's just when there's errors made, I'm the one that has to deal with our customers.
Okay. Have you taken this to your leader to say, hey, I'm crushing it, but I'm having to deal with
they're afraid. They don't want to lose anybody because we've already had a lot of people leave.
And that's what's going on right now. We have a lot of...
Exactly, because they're all overworked. Now, here's the thing, and a lot of people always talk about teamwork and, everybody works as a team in the workplace. Isn't that the way teams are, though? Now, I'll give you an example with all my basketball fans out there. Now, LeBron, he's an amazing player. I don't really like him that much, but I'm going to be fair. LeBron he's good at what he does. He's not able to do everything. He can't do offense. He can't do defense. No one can do everything. Nobody can do every single role. It's the same thing like Mario Lemieux, my favorite all-time. I know you guys are probably Wayne Gretzky fans, but I'm a big Lemieux fan. He was top scorer. That doesn't mean he's good at defense. It doesn't mean he's good because everybody has a talent. They're not going to master everything. That's why in the workplace we have a team, because some people may be good at sales. Some people may be good at client relations. Some people may be good at diffusing mistakes. Everybody has a different role. So basically what you're saying in this company, that you have to fix their mistakes. Ma'am, that's called a job. And I'm pretty sure if you made mistakes, because I'm pretty sure you're not Miss Perfect. I'm pretty sure when you're making mistakes, aren't they correcting it as well? They're probably also correcting, but they're probably not saying it or making it look like it's a big deal. Because it's their job. It's your job to have each other's back. That's why they call it a team. When you're a team, you work as a unit. Where one person lacks, the other person is able to pick up the pace. So you fixing other people's mistakes. Yes, it's probably sometimes annoying. It's cumbersome. Sometimes it could be, I don't know, just stupid mistakes, really. But as a team, you go and you pick up those mistakes and you fix them. And you smile while you're doing it because it's called a job. Now, I've done it. Trust me, in the line of work that I do, I used to fix mistakes all the time. Yes, I would whine about it. But what I would do is I would go and educate the person that made the mistake. So that way, one, they wouldn't make it again. Or two, maybe they really didn't know they made a mistake. Maybe they thought that's the way those things going to be done. But basically saying, oh, I fix it, because you're basically making yourself like you're Miss Perfect. They don't do anything. I do everything. Me, 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 me. Now, the reason why management probably doesn't want to talk to these people, she said it there, Cindy said it there, that people are quitting. They lost a lot of people, of course, because they're probably burnt out, which is normal. Or maybe you complained so much and you made them quit. It could be that too. I'm going to be fair. Again, we throw shade where shade is needed. We give the hardcore truth here. That could have been a factor too. Anyway, continuing. That's my rant. Continuing.
A lot of leaders right now that are afraid to fire anybody because of this big gap we have.
Those aren't leaders. Those are wusses.
That's exactly right. You can't control that. So what you have to decide here is, wait a second, what is best for me, Cindy? Because if I love my work, can I, at the age of 61 with a lot of maturity and a lot of work ethic, can I allow this stuff to bounce off of me, or is it no longer tenable? I can't do this any longer. That's what I really want to know.
I think you go get a new job.
I think so too. But I also don't.
So Walker.
No, Dave, you know what? We agree on a lot of things. But you're telling a 61-year-old lady who is 4 years from her retirement age to go get a new job. Are you kidding me? She said earlier in the call that no one is calling her. Now, yes, it could be because of her age. Because even though she didn't mention her age, they could see how long she's been working at a company for. So they kind of average out how old she may be. But another reason why people do not like to hire older people. One is because of the image. Okay, let's be fair. If you have an older person, sometimes it can make the company look like it's run down. Let's be brutally honest. But one important reason why they don't hire anybody that's older is because they know that that person is going to ask for more money based on their experience. There's nothing wrong with that. You should get paid for the experience that you have because you're a specialist in your role. I'm not ragging on that. But this woman is 61 years old. 4 years from legitimate retirement if she has the money. And you're telling her to go get a new job. Nah, I wouldn't do that. Me personally, if I were her, Cindy, my dear, if I were you, I would focus on what I have to do my job to the best of my ability, and move on with life. That's what I would do. I would do that. I would focus on myself, make sure my stuff is getting done. Whoever's stuff is not getting done, let them face the repercussions. If you have to fix a few mistakes along the way, fine. You fix the mistakes. You grumble about it. You grumble to yourself. I've done it. And you move on with life. Because here's the deal. What Dave is telling her to do is to get a new job. You're going to have to build a reputation from day one. You are going to be a new employee. You have to earn your stripes. Now, how long are you going to work to get to the status you are at this old company? What are you going to work until you're 90? No, bad advice. I would just suck it up, do your job to the best of your ability, and let everybody else suffer the repercussions. But that's just me. That's what I would do.
Walk her through the application process.
Well, I wanted to challenge you because I don't think it's as bad as you're making it out to be. But here's the thing.
Of course it's not.
You got to get noticed in today's world. It's not by applying online. Because even small businesses are using softwares and they're weeding people out. You're 61, which means you have at least 4 decades of relationships and connections. And you have got to shake the tree. You got to get out there and go, hey, I'm looking to move on. Here's specifically what I'm looking for. And it is relationships that will get you in the door because they go, let me tell you about Cindy. Cindy's amazing. But if you just apply, and some people may see your age, they may not, but you may not even get your resume looked at. Nope. So this is all about the proximity principle. I wrote a book that details this in great detail. I'll give it to you. We'll give it to you when we put you on hold. But this is about you leveraging your relationship capital. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you have a distinct marketplace advantage because you actually know how to work.
And you're mature.
Okay, you know what? I will give her credit. I know I've been hard on Cindy, but yes, she does have the resources, the relationship, the connection. She does have that. And that's a major asset in the business world. I don't know what field she's in, but when you have experience and connections like that, your competitors would love to have that. Now, the thing is, though, I hear her agreeing. Do you honestly think she's going to go in and listen to his advice?
Nope.
I don't think so. I think she's still going to sit there and complain that, oh, woe is me. These guys are doing no work, and I'm doing all the work. I really don't think she's going to do it because honestly, because if she seems like a smart woman, I'm going to give her just credit. She seems like a smart individual. She's hardworking. She seems dedicated. She's been at the same job for a while. I'll give her just due. I'll give her credit. But that being said, if she's a smart woman, she would realize how much she's worth to that company and how much she is worth to another company, a competitor. Don't you think she would have did this already? She ain't going to do it. No, she ain't going to do it. Allegedly, that's my opinion based on this call, this very short call. And what my take is, the way her attitude is, I don't think she's going to do it. I think she's going to stay where she is and still complain. But that's just me. Continuing.
Sure.
No
question.
You actually know how to work.
Yeah.
I mean, we got a whole group of people out there that honestly, somebody just needs to set their butt on fire. I mean, really, seriously.
I agree.
Just freaking lazy. Quiet quitting will get you nothing. I'm telling you, man. If you aim at mediocrity and you think playing Call of Duty 4 hours a day while you're supposed to be doing work from home is a good idea, you're going to be nothing in your life, and you're going to deserve every bit of that.
Yeah.
So if you have the ability to light yourself on fire, to get up, leave the cave, kill something, and drag it home, you want to be somebody, you want to be great, you want some greatness in your life, you want to throw your shoulders back and howl at the moon and cause some stuff to happen like Cindy does, you are an absolute rock star in America today.
That's right.
I mean, if
God.
you actually, what she's saying is the bar is so freaking low, if you show up at work and work while you're at work, you stand out.
Okay, you know what? Now, I'm going to be fair here. See, Dave is an older individual. So again, he has that mentality, and he clearly stated it in his closing speech. He clearly states it. That's the mentality of the older generation. But that's not going to apply. You're playing off an old playbook. You're basically playing off a playbook from 1990 and thinking it's gonna work today. It ain't gonna work. It ain't gonna work because people value their lives a little bit more now. And again, based on what these articles were saying here, basically what they were saying here, people are focusing more on their mental health now. Now, I did not agree. And I usually agree with Dave. This is one of the times I'm not agreeing with him because, first of all, you're telling a 61-year-old to go find a new job. Then you're saying that basically people who are quiet quitting are, they're not going to amount to anything. How do you know that, sir? How do you know that? Maybe when they're quiet quitting, they're focusing on something that will better their overall self. How do you know that they're not stepping out of the norm and maybe starting their own business, working for themselves instead of working for somebody else, making somebody else's pockets fuller instead of your own? How do you know that? Because a lot of people, what they do side hustles. Some people do side hustles while they're at work. Let's be fair. Now, saying somebody is not going to amount to anything just because they're focusing on themselves, I think that's total bull. Total bull. I don't agree with it. But anyway, however you guys want to live your life, you only have one life, remember. Focus on yourself. That's honestly, if anything you got out of this video today, y'all should know the importance of focusing on yourself, not on somebody else, not on making someone else money, where there is so much opportunities. And I'm going to go full screen for the last time here. And I don't want to go too much in depth on this because obviously we're at the hour mark. And I actually had a discussion with a few young people about this. There are so much opportunities to make money in 2022, even 2020, 2019, there was so much, this generation alone, let's go broad. There is so much opportunities to make money nowadays than there was when Dave and Cindy were around. Back then, all they had to do was go to their job, get a paycheck, go home, and live life like that in a box. Yes, I call it a box because you weren't able to be a free thinker. You couldn't think outside the box because the opportunity wasn't there. But there is so much opportunities now because based on technology, based on the way society is now, you can make money on the side very easily. On your days off. And I'm actually going to do a video on this next week. Spoiler, I'm actually going to make a video on this. But I'm just going to go a few examples here how people are making money on the side. On your days off, people are doing Uber. They're doing food delivery. They're on certain websites where you can actually profit off your skills. I know I'm not talking about that. We're talking about your tech skills. Say if you're good at computers, say if you're good at graphic design, you're good at video editing. You know, you can actually profit off those services that you can provide to other people in even businesses. You can do that. There's investment opportunities. You can invest in, well, I'm not a financial advisor, but you can invest. You can do, the opportunity is endless on the amount of opportunity, like on the amount of money you can actually make. But people don't seem to realize that. And I was actually even telling a group of young people the other day that you have so much opportunity to make money and the resources to do it. If you don't know something, you go on good old YouTube. And actually, Elon, I'm going to find that article for our next video. Elon actually came out and he said this, if you focus on something for 60 days, you can actually master it. And there's videos on YouTube to do it. Now, back in the day, you had to go to school to do it, but we didn't have the technology. We didn't have the resources we have now. Like, there is so much opportunities out there and a lot of people don't grab it. Why? Because they're in this mental box where you do your job, you go home, and you live life. Not realizing that there's money out there up for grabs, but people don't want to take the opportunity. Why? Because maybe they're scared. They don't know how. Or maybe they're put in a mental box like Dave was doing. You can't say that someone's not going to amount to anything because they're quiet quitting. You don't know what they're doing on the side. You don't know if they started their own business. You don't know if they're doing their own little hustle. That being said, they may be playing Call of Duty. They may be, as you call, maybe they're wasting time. But that's their time to waste. That's how they recharge. And we actually discussed this. We discussed it in this article here. Oh, I'm not even on the screen. Sorry, I've got to put myself back on the screen here. Give yourself recharge opportunities. So playing Call of Duty for 4 hours, maybe this is how this person recharges himself. You don't know that. So that's why I didn't agree with that statement. But anyway, it is what it is. But that's it. That's going to be it for today's episode. Hopefully you guys learned something. I know I did. I honestly didn't know what quiet quitting was. I thought people were quitting their jobs. But they're not really quitting their jobs. They're literally doing the bare minimum to keep their job. Do I agree with it? In some cases, yes. Some cases, no. It's on a case-to-case basis. Depends on how you want to take it. But anyway. That's going to be it for today's episode. Again, today's episode was sponsored by RedpillCanuck.com, the Daily Pill, where we get all our podcasts, weird news, and financial news, and all daily news and whatnot. Also, if you're listening on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, thank you for listening. Welcome, welcome, welcome again, and I do appreciate your support. Again, we are going to be on Google Podcasts. I'm just trying to figure out how to do it. And yeah, that's going to be it for today's episode. Make sure you hit the like button on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't already. And that's going to be it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Make sure you smash that like button. And to check out our more recent uploads, check here on the top left. And to check out our playlist, check here on the top right. And make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And also check out our Quick Hits channel, which is also located down below for our more bite-sizable content. I'll see you guys in the next one.